Okay. Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you, sir, for this.
Sir, please wait. Indra madam will start the formal meeting, sir. Please wait. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Uh,
Yes, respected head of the Department of CSE, today's resource person, eminent resource person, Mr. Sathish Kumar, Senior Developer, Cloud and Finance Domain, EPAM Systems, Chennai, and faculty members of Department of CSE and all the participants of CSE students. Very good morning to one and all who have joined here. Now, I like to call our HOD, Dr. S. Sankar Ganesh, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, madam. Uh, Good morning to all. So today the Department of CSE organizes generic talk series on design consideration in programming for financial services. The resource person is Sathish Kumar, Senior Developer, Cloud and Finance Domain, EPAM System, Chennai. So on behalf of the department and my own behalf, I welcome Sathish Kumar for accepting the invitation to deliver the address on design consideration in programming for financial services. So welcome you, sir. Next, I welcome all the faculty member and students, those who are watching the live video. So welcome you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next, I'm happy to introduce the resource person, Mr. Sathish Kumar. He has got 8 years of experience in cloud automation and orchestration-driven cloud migrations. He has played the role of lead developer with proven experience in product design, development, and management activities for medium and large-scale customers on cloud and infrastructure services. He has also experienced in providing event management with self-healing infrastructure solutions in multiple customer engagements. He has been a mentor for enthusiastic freshers and graduates who wish to learn and propel in their IT career. Thank you. Now, I would hand over the session to Mr. Sathish Kumar.
Thank you, sir and ma'am, for the introduction. Yeah, I mean, I would anyways like to introduce myself. So, I have graduated from RMK College of Engineering and Technology in 2016. I joined Infosys through campus placements, and yeah, I was working with Infosys for 8 years, and post that I've joined EPAM Systems. But I mean, actually, I work for Mastercard, and yeah, so that's how I got introduced to this finance domain. And to give you more details about the experience perspective, I have basically worked on Java based product development initially, and got to expand my knowledge scope. So I'd take this opportunity to share whatever knowledge that I've gained over these past 8 years, and so that in a college students perspective, so that will be helpful for the upcoming placements, and you'll be able to get good offers in different domains. Yeah, so I'll quickly start sharing, and I hope screen.
Visible, sir. Visible, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir, it's
Thank you.
visible, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just on the introduction, like for domains, I have worked on cloud and infrastructure services, which means say if any application team or a product is getting developed, you provide required infrastructure, right? Like your college provides you laptops or desktops, and it's IDEs and licenses for developing the products or developing your projects, right? So similarly, this cloud and infrastructure is like you do some kind of automation and stuffs in cloud. And when it comes to financial services, I've worked on mostly on card industry. So when I say card, it's your debit card, credit card, and stuffs like that. So I mean, what are the I mean, how transactions happen through debit cards and credit cards, and how different security aspects are handled and things like that. Yeah. And yeah, when it comes to the departments, yes, I joined Infosys as a software engineer in research and development department, and over a period of time, after gathering some, hold on the products in Infosys, I've been part of product delivery and product management. So then with respect to technologies, like I have hands-on experience in Java, Angular, React, and PostgreSQL and Cassandra, like in the database side. So I've shared all these details because if anybody wants some, information about how things work or what's the market situation with respect to these technologies, can approach me. I think ma'am has my LinkedIn details already. She can share, or even I can also share maybe offline. Yeah. So okay, now jumping on to the topic, I'll go to financial services first. So, what are financial services for those who are hearing, or having some kind of a idea about finance, right? I mean, finance directly is money, but financial services are those where, I mean, are those companies which involve in investment, lending, management of money and assets, right? So, with money comes more risk, right? So, like your mutual fund disclaimer. So, yeah, so which means that when it comes to financial services, the team or the products which are getting developed for financial services has to take utmost care of certain aspects, which I'm going to discuss today. So, in case if say if we get a campus placement, drive for any of the financial, like say insurance companies or banks or um, for even like say companies like Mastercard, Visa, or so, right? So you should be able to talk in certain terms so that they get to understand that you can belong to the financial services domain, and you'll be able to quickly get into their way of working. So to make it clear, like since I've been in two different ventures all these years, uh, the approach for other companies or other domains is totally different than the financial services, where for financial services the thumb rule is security and reliability. So it takes trust to establish a particular product for financial services. Yeah. Yes. So yeah. So there are different software engineering principles like solid principles, etc., which you might be knowing or you might be able to get it in many YouTube videos. But when they are applied, or their importance is more when it comes to financial services domain. So whenever you code for a bank or code for a insurance company or so, right? I mean, the solid principles are very important, and not only solid principles, but different software engineering principles which we will be discussing here. Yeah. So yes. So coming to the first part of the topic, what are design considerations? What do we mean by design considerations, right? So design considerations is like, whenever you want to design a particular product, it is applicable for all the products, not only for finance. But when it comes to considerations, it's like you have to address what the product is meant for, right? So, for example, if you are going to create a application for railway booking system, what are the different things that you need to consider? Who are the different stakeholders who will be using the product or application, things like that, right? So when it comes to finance, it's these 6 or 7 main design considerations that we'll have to make. So, as I said, when it comes to finance, there is more risk. So, security is the first aspect. Second is maintainability. When it comes to maintainability, it's like whenever you add more and more features or more and more, uh, integrations to your particular application, right? So, you should be able to maintain it in a certain way so that it doesn't break anything else. And yeah, third is reliability. When I say reliability, take this situation where you go to Amazon and you purchase something. You are trying to make a payment, right? And it fails once, twice, thrice, you'll be okay. When it fails to the fourth time, you'll just close and you'll go to a different, website or a different merchant. So yeah, so which means reliability is must, because you should be able to make sure that you are a reliable, merchant or reliable seller who makes sure that okay, all the payments are processed properly and then goods are delivered to the customers accordingly, right? And usability, yeah. So it's up to the consumers, and like this, you should be making sure that when it comes to finance, consumers should be able to use your products efficiently. When I say efficiently, it's like they should be able to know when to use your product and what to buy. And when it comes to the other side, it should be easy to use. It should not be confusing anyone who's going to, use the applications or products. Right? Scalability is, like I said, growth when it comes to big billion days or year-end sales. Amazon and Flipkart, they make sure that they withstand all the load that they get because of offers, and that's achieved by considering scalability into their design. Yeah. Efficiency is how much requests or how much say transactions you can process in a given time. So should be like you should not be restricting people that okay, you wait for say 10 minutes in the queue for your transaction to complete, right? So you should be able to make sure that you provide seamless experience to consumers who are using the product. So when I say product, it's simple. It can be it can be spoken in two perspectives, right? One is if you take e-commerce or if you take mobile commerce or anything. So there the two major stakeholders are merchants and consumers. So who are merchants? Merchants are like sellers. When you say merchants, it's the terminology that is used in the payment industry, where they don't call people sellers or they don't call people, say, shopkeepers or so. They just say that, okay, they are merchants, right? Because they do some, they do, sell their products, or they do, have their websites. So the recent trend that is going on with respect to payments industry or, the merchant side is that nobody wants to host their websites, right? So that's where Amazon, Flipkart, everything comes in. So if you want a, say, for example, if you want a LG product, you need not go to the LG website and then buy it, right? So you can go to Amazon or you can go to Flipkart and then still buy it, because there the website and the the related servers back and everything is maintained by Amazon. You are just subscribing to a Amazon subscription, and then you are trying to sell your products, which means you have lesser effort of maintaining your website, or you have lesser effort of you know uh, making sure that your website is completely available, and it comes as a service from Amazon, right? Which comes at a particular cost. So this is applicable for large merchants like LG, HP, etc., where they have money and they'll be able to cater to the customer needs, or they'll be able to provide that much money to the infrastructure that they are getting, or the service that they are getting from say different providers like Amazon or so. But when it comes to small merchants, right? So small merchants is like, as of today, if you take some, say, plant-based stuffs like Mamaearth or whoever like is starting off their business, right? So they usually do not go to that space because they cannot invest that much for their, websites uh, availability over, 24/7. So in that aspect, smaller merchants, what they go for certain websites like which act like WordPress, where they can go and create their own website using drag and drops, right? So from this perspective, small merchants, they get a website created, they will make sure that their website is available and it can take a particular amount of load and everything. So when they opt for some service for payments, uh, it should be cost effective, as well as it should be available as much as possible. So from these are different considerations that we should be making when it comes to say commerce, right? So yeah. So next important part here is the security compliance, right? So yeah, so security compliance is like, say for example, if you take payment processes, right? Okay, so one point here is none of the merchants are going to go to a bank and say that, okay, my account is in ICICI or my account is in, say, Axis Bank or and say that, okay, all the transactions which you make, right, is going to go and fall into that account. It's not. So there are certain intermediate systems like payment gateways. You would have seen something like, uh, say, a RuPay, or you'll be seeing something like, what do you call, Razor Pay and all that. So these are different payment gateways. So what they do is they make sure that they interact with the banks, and they kind of make sure that the transactions are getting completed successfully, like it's securely processed and stuff like that. So when you have payment gateways in between, it means that, okay, you kind of have a website. From the website, you enter your card number, you enter your, like, say, CVV, expiry date, etc., and then you click on submit, right? After that, what happens? The request is actually given to a payment gateway, and the payment gateway makes sure that, okay, this particular request should be, or this particular transaction should be processed securely. And when it comes to certain, say, banks, right, they give something called 3D secure, right? So what is 3D secure? Like, you get a captcha, or you get a uh, code. I mean, you get a screen where you have to select the images which have cycles or buses or so, right? So this is called 3D secure, where they make sure that you are not. This is not an automated, system that tries to take your funds. So from that perspective, there are different security standards that are defined for different industries. Like, when I say industry, it's like, insurance has a certain set of standards, and since I work for Mastercard and it's like card industry or payment processor, there is something called PCI DSS here, which is like payment card industry data security standards. So which means that when I develop a product which does payments, or which does something with respect to the, say, cards, right, the consumers cards, we should be making sure that we don't log any consumer data, or we don't store any consumer data unnecessarily, or any transaction data or things like that. So when it comes to um, payment card industry, it's like there are two things. Like, one is PII, which is personal identity information. Second is PCI, which is personal card information, right? So there are these kind of considerations which are there with respect to the card industry. But as such, in finance, there are, like, for insurance, you have standards like you should not be retaining the data for more than 90 days if at all there is something that you have captured with respect to the consumer and things like that. So yeah, so compromising these data is not allowed. And when we say compromise, it's not that you go and hand over from your application log that, okay, here is the report, or here is the data of people who have used my services. It's like no hacker or attacker should also be able to get this information. So when we say compromise, it's like steal. I mean, if somebody tries to steal the data, then also the data gets compromised. So next important thing is the application vulnerability compliance. So what is application vulnerability first, right? Is that how easily a hacker or an attacker can get the data or steal the data from your application. It's not only stealing of data, how easily an attacker can bring down your application, right? So say, for example, if an application is capable of taking 100 requests per minute, an attacker can create a program which like makes 500 requests per minute and brings the application down, right, by giving it more load. So there should be some kind of settings in your products or applications which you are developing, in order to make sure that, okay, these kind of aspects are handled, right? So from that perspective, like, denial of service is nothing but what I explained now. Like, attackers can do something to make sure that your application is down. And SQL injection, I mean, it's commonly known, but it's something that is very critical and very commonly occurring issue in different products. And cross-site scripting is another thing. It's a browser-based one. So you say, for example, if you have a web application or a website where for shopping, right? So you go and as a consumer, I'll just go and buy some, buy something, and then I have a link which just click here to accept terms and conditions also. But a hacker or an attacker can inject something into your web browser, into your, the application, which where, when you click that link, right, it captures all the cookie information from your browser, and then, it gets, say, if you have some card data stored in your browser cookie, right, then it might steal, they might steal the information through that. So these are certain things uh, which is actually critical part of developing the uh, application, particularly for this finance. Yeah. So yeah, so some of the best practices that should be followed is payload encryption. So this is mostly applicable for your web-based application. For example, if, like I said, if it's Amazon or Flipkart, right? If you try to open the network tab in your browser, I hope like everybody who's seeing this is from computer science background, but yeah, whenever you go to the browser, you can just go to the network section of your browser and see what are the, what are the backend calls that are happening from Amazon website. You will not be able to see one, or you will not be able to make out even a simple information from those calls that are going to the backend, which means everything is end-to-end encrypted. So even that's even we follow that in WhatsApp and everything, right? You see that tag called end-to-end encrypted, which gives you confidence that you can go ahead and use it, right? And secondly, when it comes to like say security, it's like you should be having, you should be having multiple or multi-level encryption. So I hope there are subjects which says what is encryption and what is symmetric or asymmetric encryption in the curriculum. But to just give a small overview, symmetric encryption is like you use the same key, which means that okay, you use a key to encrypt and you use the same key to decrypt on both the sides, right? So that, but if somebody catches hold of the key, right, they'll be able to make out what the information is. So when it comes to asymmetric, you have a public and private key concept where you use a public key, and you will be able to encrypt the content. If somebody catches hold of the public key as well, they will not be able to decrypt because can be decrypted only using a private key, right? So I know it's a very short explanation for this concept, but I hope it's there in your curriculum. If it's not, maybe we can, have separate sessions on this, which will probably, which will probably introduce you to a whole dimension of security with respect to data. And profile or group specific encryptions is like at an application level, if you have a certain, pattern of having your keys, right, for encryption and decryption, sometimes it's easy to crack, right? Sometimes an attacker or hacker can make different hits, and through the patterns he'll be able to identify. So if you can have separate keys, say for example, if you take Amazon, right, there are different sellers. For each seller, they have a, they can have a, they might have a strategy which says, okay, for this seller I'm going to use this key, right? So that anybody who tries to make or purchase different transactions and then figure out something, right, they'll not be able to make out because the encryption standard itself is different for different merchants, right? And yeah, security boundaries. One of the important aspects is this TLS and MTLS. If at all you are going for an interview, you should be aware of, say, SSL, TLS and MTLS with security perspective. So, so say for example, if you are going to present your project as an IRC, like say railway booking app or something, right? How do you make sure that the details of your consumers, right, are securely transferred to the payment systems and things like that? So TLS and MTLS stands for like say transport layer security and mutual transport layer security. So TLS is like one way of one way call identification or check. MTLS is like you have client and server, both checks where the data is sent and where is the data coming from. So TLS and MTLS, SSL are three, major things. If at all you're going for some companies which does payments or which handles money, right? Like I said, insurance or banks or right? You should be aware of this. It adds a lot of advantage. Yeah. So authentication, authorization are all general application security setups. Rate limiting. This is one of the important things. So rate limiting is nothing but you have a restriction on from a particular source or origin, how much requests you can take at a particular interval of time. Say 10 minutes, I can process 500 requests. Okay, if so that if somebody creates a script or somebody creates a bot which will continuously hit the application and try to bring it down, it won't work. It will directly reject it. So it can be applied at different levels. I don't want to go into that depth, that in deep, because again, like your encryption, this is also a good topic which can be discussed for an hour or so. And
Yes, sir.
yes, yeah, and the
Yes,
final
sir.
thing is like input and output sanitization. Um, yeah, so the sanitization is nothing but I mentioned something in this slide called cross-site scripting, right? Where
Sorry, sir.
yeah.
Sir, rate limiting represents only the number of transaction or daily limit, sir.
No. Rate limiting is not about amount. It is at the application level how much requests you can handle. Say if we take a web application, right? Or even our college website, right? If I make if I write a script which says like, okay, just hit this page 100,000 times in 1 hour, right? So the server might not be able to handle the load and it might go down. So people or attackers who want to bring something down, right? They use this strategy to uh, kind of bring something down and then create a denial of service. So to avoid it, there are different aspects like API gateway, or there are aspects like even in the code, right? There are different libraries which can be used to make sure that when the request comes in, you stop or you check the request and then you see that, okay, this is in allowed limit, and then process it. So that's what rate limiting is all about. So yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Oh. And yeah, when it comes to input and output sanitization, it's simple. Whatever content that people are trying to inject, say in my backend or in my web server, if I have to, no, sorry, in my application server, if I have to consume that data, if I inject some HTML content or if I inject some scripts, right? It's just that a simple encoding will make sure that the script is not an executable, which means whenever an application is running, if somebody tries to inject some script in a script tag to be very in a basic level, whenever I hit an application, right? If I just give my name, right, or a login page where I give my user ID and password, right? If I do not have input and output sanitization, the passwords call to the backend, right, can be interrupted or intercepted. You can inject some scripts there, which means that after the login page, you will just see your name on the top. When you click on that name, there will be some script also which can get executed. So to avoid it, there are some basic techniques like base64 encoding and things like that, which will make sure that the script does not get executed. But with the modern frameworks like Angular, React, and all that, so this output sanitization is taken care. So output sanitization is whenever the pages are rendered by React or Angular, it makes sure that there are no vulnerable scripts and then it renders the page. And backward compatibility is the next aspect where when you upgrade your applications, you should make sure that it's backward compatible. When I say backward compatible, whoever used the application till now, they should be able to use it as such. They should not be facing any difficulty, or they should not be able to, they should not be having a work that they have to go and do some altercation in their application to make sure, to make it work. So backward compatibility is, as I said, solid principles. Please, this is like not only for finance. Everybody has to understand solid principles if they are going for an interview. Um, so solid principles is something that every organization in the industry looks for. So yeah, I think I think that's the majority that I wanted to cover. If there are any questions, if there are any doubts, or if something has to be explained in detail, somebody can speak out so that we can get into that in detail.
Sir, please explain something more about solid principles, sir.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So, okay, when it comes to solid principles, there are five. Okay, so this is like basically OOPS concepts. Okay.
Okay.
So when you go for an interview, when somebody asks inheritance, right? So you have a parent class, you have child class, right? But behind this there is something called list of substitution, which stands for this L. Okay, so S is like single responsibility principle, where if you are developing an application, you should make sure that you change a particular class code only for, say, when it's a single responsibility, it's like you should not be doing much, changes for each and every change that is coming, right? So we have to make sure that appropriate child classes are created or appropriate dependent fields are created and things. For example, a very basic thing is like you go for a college. I mean, you go to a college website and you make sure that okay, we are creating a class which says student, right? And that student, if you just go for like details, like in the same student class, you say you have name, say you have the year, you have the department, and so for department you should be having a separate class, right? So that the department's details are entered into that class. So if you have everything into a same class, right? So what happens is whenever there is a small change in the department, you have to go and a particular class. Whenever there is a small change in, say, curriculum, you have to go and update the same class again. So which means that your code is getting altered more, right? Which is a risk, because as much as the code is getting changed, there is an option. I mean, in the industry side, you have a lot of processes to follow, like testing, like say unit testing, integration testing, regression testing, and then you have some user acceptance testing and everything. Well, so all these processes will take a lot of effort and time. So time is money, right? So it all comes with certain costs. So from that perspective, SOLID all stands for like say different principles. So list of substitution, why I wanted to tell is because this comes with inheritance. Okay. So for example, what is list of substitution here is, it's very basic. Like you create a particular function with a base class return type. Okay. And if you return a value or an object which belongs to the subclass, right? Will it get accepted or not? I leave it up to the students to go and try it out. It will be interesting to check out what is happening there. Yeah, and yeah, and when you say like there is dependency in all these things, like if you go for frameworks like Spring and all, right? So dependency inversion and all these things are already in place. You will obviously apply solid principles. You go for certain say when you go for certain frameworks without your knowledge, but it's good to have. A very simple thing is, if I just do solid principles, I mean, from an interview, if you go to solid principles, generally you will be able to learn. But if you want to go with interview based things, this solid principles, right? So this actually gives you lot. I mean, Geeks for Geeks link, right? So this actually gives you lots and lots of information about solid principles and how well you can, how well the interviewer can, twist the questions or convert the questions and give you different challenges there, right? So yeah, so solid principles is something that's must. I request anybody who's attending an interview, just be very confident with solid principles, and that will help long time. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Any question from faculty side? Any questions from faculty? Or your type in the chat box also accepted.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, sir, I mean, do we have anything with respect to finance or security in the curriculum now?
Sir?
Any subject in any of the semesters that do we have?
Related to finance, sir.
Security or financing?
The security available, sir. Computer network security, CNS security available, cloud security
Oh,
available. Okay.
okay. Cloud security. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So if cloud security, if somebody is going to put it in your resume, then make sure TLS and MTLS are there, because MTLS is mostly used in cloud-based, applications. So anything that's on public cloud, it has to be through MTLS and TLS to make sure that your communications are secure.
Okay. Sir, is if possible, sir, you will come to the college and demonstrate in the practical way to the students, sir, any day or any one day in future.
Yes, sure. We can do that.
Okay. So one day we'll come to the college and demonstrate all the things to the practical to the students, sir. Okay.
Sure. We can do that. Yes.
Okay, sir. Indra, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions from the
Yes.
audience, madam? Any faculty?
Faculties, any queries if you have, you can raise now.
Or is type the chat box also accepted? No questions, madam.
And like I said, like all of these are subtopics, but everything takes a lot of time to kind of detail explain in detail. If somebody takes up projects which deals with finance or even something on public cloud, then all of these security aspects will be applicable there as well. So yeah, they can get in touch. I think I can share this offline with ma'am so that students get it. Just to make sure that they go through the topics, and then maybe they can choose something from here. Or yeah, anyway, I think I can share my LinkedIn profile as well. Uh, they can contact. Already, I think few of our students are in touch, but yeah, I think they'll be it should be fine for them to contact and get some information.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir. Okay, madam. So on behalf of the management, principal, and the department, I thank Sathish Kumar, sir, for spending your valuable time with the student community as well as the faculty community, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and I think you are traveling somewhere, so
So no,
I think students will get the importance of this because you're joining from uh, travel. So yeah, that makes sense.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And also, I thank the coordinator Indra Madam for arranging all the um, arrangements for free and today events. Okay, thank you, madam. Next, I thank the
Thank
Regine
you, sir.
Pulse for creating the YouTube link and all the things. And also, I thank all the faculty member for attending the session and students for attending the session through YouTube live video. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sadish, one day in future, if possible, come to college and conduct one practical session.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
sir.
We can. Yes,
Okay.
can
We
plan.
will have the meeting in the month of February. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Regine
Thank you, sir.
sir,